You're in the rant wormhole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This is for Cotton Candy Flame, who says, talk about the Teen Titans episode Terra. So you may remember that last month I talked about the Terra arc in Teen Titans in a very general way, having not seen the show in like 15 years. And the Cotton Candy Flame reached out to me and said, would you be willing to cover each episode one by one? Like, would you be willing to watch them back and talk about them, if it was one at a time? And I said, sure. So, I just watched the episode Terra, and it was, it was pretty fun. It's pretty alright. Terra herself is I like her character design, particularly her eyes. I like the hair. I like how they draw the outline of her hair to be just like a different shade of yellow from the hair itself that gives it that radiant blonde. I'm a big fan of like pure blonde, so that's a win. She's pretty cute, kind of fun. I like that she's like a kind of a slob, just like a wanderer who's just kind of chill and wants to see the world and shit. But I think that this episode is kind of like an entire arc into itself. Like, it was crazy how much goes on in it, and I would say that that's very comic book-esque. Like, from what experience I have with American comic books, they tend to move really fast and have a lot of shit crammed into each issue as compared to manga or anime, which usually takes its time and is more about drinking in the entire scene, really getting to know the characters and spend a lot of time with them before we start really doing things with them. Like with Terra, we are introduced to her in the middle of an action scene. And I will say, I'm impressed with how much fucking action is in Teen Titans. Like, not all of it is equally exciting. The choreography is pretty good. The animation is pretty great. There's a lot of character to the animation. I would say that the overall directing is not that strong. Shots always kind of feel like the same length. Like, there's not a lot of punch to the actual, like, timing of shots leading into each other. If you watch something like, a Hiroyuki Imaishi action scene, there's a lot of emphasis on that timing, and I think that a lot of the anime that influenced Teen Titans would be, does a much better job of that, which, Teen Titans is definitely influenced by guys like Imaishi, art styles like, Fooly Cooly and other Gainax works. So, I would say that it has the strengths that American cartoons have of just way more animation, way more fluidity, but I think there's also a sort of obsession with trying to show the entire movement as opposed to just the impact frames, just the parts that matter, which is something that some people probably criticize anime for, but I think that's what makes it exciting. So, in any case, there's a lot of action in the episode. The opening scene is of Terra fighting like a big monster thing, and the Titans basically find her, instantly are just like, let's be friends. You got powers, we got powers, you seem like a non-shit. Come to our house and live with us, It all happens so quickly. It's just like they introduce themselves and then she's just there. And like we don't even really get to have everyone's feelings about her, everyone's, relationship with her. Like, it's understandable that Starfire would just be like, let's be friends, we are now besties, because that's her personality, and Starfire's delightful through this episode. Beast Boy, the second he lays eyes on her, is just completely in love with her, totally controlled by his libido, fine. The other three are just kind of there, and I appreciate that at least Robin is, like, suspicious of her, and, like, he catches on that she doesn't have full control of her powers, which is a good twist at the end. But Raven and Cyborg, they have basically no interaction with her at all, aside from like a couple little back and forths that don't mean anything, So like, I would have liked if this, instead of being just like the start of the episode, be an entire episode of we meet this character, we really get into the bones of what they're like, how they interact with each member of the team, give some weight to the idea that they just want her to join at the end, that they're just like, oh, you're great, come join our team, we care so much about you, and we've known you for like 10 seconds and most of it is just watching you be a total slob, you know. It just seemed like almost as if the episode were going down a checklist of like what needs to be done, of like introduce character, give her traits, show what her combat potential is with this training scene, which is fine. And then like right into the drama of the fact that she can't fully control her powers. She wants to keep this a secret. She tells Beast Boy, don't tell anybody. Very immature thing to ask. Beast Boy, of course, being also immature, makes said promise. You know, if you're going to operate on a team, it's kind of important that everybody knows what's going on. And, like, these are people who can help her. Transparently, they want to, but she's obviously very insecure about not, you know, having control over her powers. So they have this big run-in with Slade. Slade gives her a villain speech, playing on her insecurities, saying that she really needs a mentor, not friends, and like they're all gonna hate her once they find out. And he convinces her because she's emotionally unstable and too young to understand. And so like at the end when Robin's like, oh, I could tell you can't control your powers, and she thinks Beast Boy has ratted on her, she gets pissed off and storms away. Pretty much exactly what you were expecting to happen. It's just funny that it happened so quickly. Because again, even if the end of the episode had been like, all right, you're on the team now, and then like the next episode had been Terra, you know, befriending everybody, getting more integrated into the team, and then having this apparent betrayal, it would have hit that much harder. We would care more about her as a character. The way it is, it kind of feels... I understand why there are some people who really hate Terra, because she is kind of forced into the show and has, like, so much going on at once, where we've already been with these characters for 15 episodes and really gotten to know them, and then this one comes out of nowhere and we're kind of expected to care, and suddenly the whole arc is about her. Suddenly Beast Boy's in love with her, even though everybody was shipping him with Raven, you know? So, like, it was... I get why some people would see this as, like, disruptive, but... I think it's just a matter of happening so quickly, and I think that comes from the nature of, you know, Western cartoons, that they don't, or at the time at least, did not tend to be long, involved narratives, you know, where in a lot of Western cartoons that do have ongoing narratives, even today, it's usually like episodic 80% of the time, and then there's the episode that progresses the story, and as a result they have to cram everything in there. And whereas with anime, there is no need for that. They usually will just keep telling the story every single episode and take their time and, you know, measure it all out correctly. So I'm sure there are some people who probably would prefer this fast-paced nature, but for me it was just kind of jarring. It was like weird to watch a show that is clearly taking so many stylistic nods from anime and yet telling a story in such a decidedly Western comic book kind of way. But I mean, it is a Western comic book adaptation, so to speak, so I guess that's not surprising. But overall, it was fine. You know, likable. I think she's a likable character. I just wish that there was more time with her before we dive into the drama, because if I remember this arc correctly, it's going to get pretty melodramatic pretty quickly, and I feel like there wasn't... Like, Terra seems like she has a lot more going on than what was shown here. You know, I wanted to know more about why she's traveling, why, like, I mean, I guess she's traveling just because she doesn't want to stay in any one place for too long because she tends to cause disasters, but, like, you know, maybe flesh out her conflicting feelings about being on the road or something. I don't know. Just would have liked more time with her before we started getting melodramatic. But that's just me. Overall, it was fine, I guess. I don't know if Teen Titans is a show I would be, like, eager to go back and watch all of, just because, like, the way episodes are paced is weird to me. And also, I don't like the music in the show. I think it's kind of generic and cheesy, and that takes away from some of the scenes. But, you know, I do like Teen Titans Go. So, I'm a bastard.